going to talk about quizzes, and there are a few different types of quizzes that you can assign, and we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about question banks and walk through how to create a quiz. So if you go under settings, you can click manage question banks. Question banks are really especially helpful if your entire system is using Canvas, so whether it be your university or your school is using Canvas, then you can add question banks. And then that would be an entire group of questions that you could subdivide and add to specific quizzes. So maybe for EOC prep or for finals prep, then you could add all those questions to a question bank and then easily pull from those when you do your quiz. Okay, so let's look at how to create a quiz. So you just click on New Quiz. Then you can name your quiz. Then you have two separate parts underneath the name of your quiz, settings and questions. So first thing under settings is your quiz instructions. So you can type up what quiz instructions you want your students to see. Then you have 4 different quiz types. One is a practice quiz. So this is a quiz that students can take, but is not going to affect their grade. So maybe it's a review for an exam that you just want them to be prepared for, but they don't actually need to get a grade for that. Or there's a graded quiz. So it could be a quiz that they specifically are going to get a grade for. And then there's graded survey and ungraded survey. So if you want them to fill out a survey and whether or not you want it to be graded or not. You're also going to put what assignment group you're going to put that quiz into. So depending on how you have your assignment group will depend on what assignment group you're going to put it in. You have the option to shuffle answers on the quiz. You also have the option to set a time limit. You have the option to allow the student to have multiple attempts. If you allow them to have multiple attempts, then you can say which score to keep, so whether it's the highest, the latest, or the average. And you can set a specific number of attempts. If you leave it blank, then it'll just let them take it until the due date. You can also let students see their quiz responses only after each attempt or every time. You can also let them see the correct answers. So you can set it so that way they can see the correct answers at a specific date. So if it's due on the 1st, you can have them see it on the 1st. And you can also set hide correct answers at a specific date. You can also click show only one question at a time. So instead of seeing all the questions, students only see one question at a time. You can also require an access code that you give students. So that way you make sure only the right students give it. And just like assignments, you can assign to specific students, give them specific due date, and have it only available from certain days. As far as question types are concerned, you can select new question group, find questions, or new question. Find questions will find questions from that question bank that we talked about earlier. New question group would be an entire group of questions. So you can link to a question bank and then have them pick so many questions and how many points per question. So maybe there's 40 questions in that question bank and you wanted to just pick 5 or just pick 10. You could do that as well and then create a group of questions. Or you can just click new question. For question, you'll put question number 1, 2, whatever you want it to be, what type it is, so multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank, fill in multiple blanks, multiple answers, multiple drop downs, matching, numerical answer, formula question, essay question, file upload question, or a text, which there is no question, it just provides a text. So for multiple choice, you'd put the question here, put in what the correct answer is, and then possible other answers. For true false, you just put the question and mark whether true is correct or whether false is correct. So selecting the little arrow next to it will show you if true or false is correct. For fill in the blank, you're going to put your question here and then your possible answers. Fill in multiple blanks, you're going to show answers for and enter variables above. So possible answer, and for which ones are correct. So wrong answer comments as well. So if you click wrong answer comments, and if they get the question wrong, it'll tell them specific hints to help them get the question right. Multiple answers and multiple drop downs will have different, depending on what your question is. And you can also change the points as well. And it'll give you hints as well. So for example, for multiple drop-downs, it says enter your question, specifying where each drop-down should go, then define possible answers for each drop-down with one correct per question. And it says in the box below, every place you want to show an answer box, type a reference word, no spaces, surrounded by brackets. So it guides you through how to do each type of question. For matching, it'll give you the answers that you want on the left with the correct answers you want on the right. It'll say additional match possibilities or distractors, so type each distractor on its own line. For numerical answer, you put the exact answer here, and then with what kind of error margin. So if you want it to be plus or minus 1, and you want to give them points for being close, you can do that too. Formula question, you can define variables by typing variable names surrounded by brackets. For each question, build a formula and generate a set of possible answer combinations. Students will see the question with randomly selected set of variables fill in and have to type the correct numerical answer. For essay question, you just type in the question and they will be given a text field to compose their answer. And for file upload question, they're going to see the question and then be able to upload a file for their answer. And again, with quizzes, you can add in different links to assignments, to announcements, to discussions inside of that quiz as well.